Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on this channel. So, live stream is activated. Just having the quick setup as always, you know me, slowly. Putting my new webcam on, so a little bit lower. So, can you see me on the setup now? So, day 7 it is. Day 7 already. We made the whole week live streams. That is a huge achievement for me because I really wanted to do that once in a while. And today, or better, the last week was successful and we managed to have at least once a day a live stream. And today we want to see what we have achieved after 7 days of live streaming of a live app and how this Flashcard app will look like. So I'm just doing the setup. I will be ready in 4 minutes, so take your time. And if you have questions, feel free to ask them already, so I can see already the chat. So, as you see, maybe I changed the boundaries here a little bit, so every day we got some new fancy tools that I could play with. It was very funny in the last couple of days. Maybe my microphone is a bit too loud. Please let me know if this is the case. So, up. New window. Wrong keyboard. Alrighty. Oh, we have still 3 minutes. Oh, perfect. Da, da, da. So, Twitter post is also out. Okay, well, I would say let's slowly begin with the time. The time is right? Because we have exactly 4 o'clock or 4:59. We can still wait. No, I would say let's get started. All right, so welcome back to another episode of Flutter Explained with the Flashcard app that we developed. We worked the whole week together on this Flashcard app and we had some very big progress. We wanted to allow our customers to see flashcards that we can swap and flip. And on the one side, we get a hint, and on the other side, the answer. For that, we asked a Google Docs file, a spreadsheet, to give us the information about these two things, and then we can show whatever we want. Hey Akash, nice to see you. Great that you are here. And the good thing is we already implemented most of the things, and today I would like to make some cleanup. Also, I would like to thank everyone who followed this series since the first day and helped me and gave me a lot of suggestion on how to make this stream even more interesting for all of you. Of course, there was also a lot of learnings this week for me and hopefully for you. So whenever you have a question or I am too fast in development, please let me know. We will take care of that. We can answer all questions, or at least I will try. Okay, so maybe I give you a short round trip where we have left the last time. So hopefully you will see now my screen with code. And here inside what we did is we created our nice little app. And because we already read our information from the live Google Drive directly, we get all the information that our users, so we all together learned and created, because these folders are free for everyone. So if you want to access this flashcard folder, you can do that now. And if you jump inside, you can see there is a lesson 1 and lesson 2. And inside of this, we have also learn Flutter and learn Hindi. All of these are possibilities that we created. And thanks to this amazing folder structure, we can see that now in our app, like learning Hindi, learning English, and learning Flutter. Hey Omid, love you from Iranian developers. Thank you very much. My best regards back to the Iranian developer community. Great that you also have Flutter in your mind. Okay, so we have now the options to see our folder structure immediately, like here. So if I create here a new folder, learn Iranian, because it fits so well at the moment, we can jump inside, create a new spreadsheet. We share that with everyone and enter a new name. For example, Lection 1, Salam. And if we go back to here and reload quickly, and go to our app, making a hot restart at the moment because we don't have a refresh button in any case. Now we have already our new folder, Learn Iranian, with Lecture 1, Salam. So you can see we have direct connection to the Google Spreadsheets, which was really a challenge because we needed to get the Google APIs package to run. We searched for a sign-in possibility to receive a connected HTTP client that directly could talk with the Google Spreadsheets to get all the informations. Now we have been able to finally show that, but it's not really beautiful, right? And if I click something, it's even worse because our loading spinner is currently this text, which is also not a good solution. Another thing is if we run into an issue, like for example now in this case, because we created a new, but we didn't enter anything inside, so we don't have a hint or a language. So for example, Iranian or Farsi would be the correct language, I guess, and German. Now I could write, for example, Salam, which means hello. And if I save that, now it wouldn't return the error anymore and we would be able to load this information actually. So if we go to Iranian, after some seconds, we have now our first flashcard, and if I click it, we get the German part back. Okay, so much, so forth. So the application is already from the functions ready to use. At least basic functionality is there, right? So we could already start thinking about releasing and also maybe starting off I don't know, maybe improve the app at certain points where we think it needs necessarily improvements. For example, I really don't like this text here. And what I also don't like is if we take this on this side and showing it in the meantime, and now I hot restart, then something weird happens. The loading spinner is on the top left, which looks also horrible. So this is stuff that completely takes me off, which I think, so we cannot let app release because it's really a low-hanging fruit and shouldn't be an issue. Also, and this is what we want to take the first time a look into, is can we run it in web? Is it also possible to run on iOS, maybe on Android? Because if it runs on all devices, we also could take care to release it, at least for example in the web. So everyone with a browser can access this website and can learn with our together created Google Drive spreadsheets. I also will share once more the link to this flashcards share app, where you feel free to add as many of your knowledge as you have, so that we can all together learn from your fantastic flashcards. So let's take the link once more and search for the chat. Hello. And send it. Okay, but now back to development. Let's have a look on if we are lucky and web is directly working. I would be very surprised because, well, we didn't have optimized anything for the web yet, but it could be that it immediately works out of the box. So as I know Flutter, it could work directly. As far as I know, we didn't have used any packages that should make a problem out of it. And it looks already promising. We have the Flutter demo, it's loading up and it works. And it seems to work correctly, right? If I click here, we load the info, namaste, hello, that looks promising. So also here, our app is already doing what we expect. It's not really beautiful, as I said, but in general, the workflow is working, right? Everything is there in German, in English, for Flutter, and so on and so forth. Everything is there. Of course, we can always implement more functionality, but as a very basic Flashcard app, as an MVP, I would say this is releasable. This is something someone could use. And last but not least, we would have also iOS, and I would like to also test it on Android, just to see if it really works on each platform without any hesitation. It could be that iOS needs some entitlements. The reason for that is we need to access the web, and I think iOS is always a bit restrictive there. Uh-oh, is it the first time that I open an iPhone 13 since the Xcode upgrade? Could it be? Then it will take a little bit longer. Sorry for the waiting time. So, does the chat have questions? No, all happy until now. Great stuff. Good, so the iOS is running. And now we can let it run here. But if the web and macOS is already running, that's really a good thing to know, because that means what we could do in our flashcards project, we could increase our about method. We could also enhance our Readme MD, because this here is not running out of the box, right? We have to do something to let the tests run. Another cool thing is our tests are also running. What is the open? We have still the buttons that we should do, where we want to implement the logic on how we want to proceed with buttons. But I think, as I said, this is not necessarily for the MVP yet. The only thing is maybe to change the text there, here and there. So now my computer getting hot, I think. A lot of building with Xcode. Always a challenge. So we sync. Oh no, even this works out of the box. Jeez, okay, that's really good. So just benefits here. And I can click it and we get the correct translation. Car, Fahrrad, Abend, that works everything perfect. Wow. Okay, so the last test that we have is running the whole thing on an Android device. Just to get the whole spectrum, because if everything works, then we could really think about to at least release it in the Google Play Store. So that would be something, a cool solution for today. Hey Bimal, Pudel, nice to see you. Hope you are as exciting as me. Had a good start of the day, or better, did you had a great Saturday? No, Sunday is today, sorry. Ah, my head. You know, I had vacation. Vacation is the best time to lose every track of time. So now we wait for Android. Did I start it? No, let's do that. Good old Gradle will also take his time, I guess. I don't know if you have ever worked with Expo from React Native, but that is pretty cool, because then you can directly work on the devices, which always is a pretty fun thing to see. Nice to be here again for you. I hope you learned something this week. I was really amazed with the live streams. Did a lot of fun. What was funny is that we lost some subscribers in the meantime, or through the live streams, and I guess it was the notifications. Every day getting notifications of Flutter Explained can be a bit distracting, I guess. All right, so now here it's running. We have our Android. I cannot believe that everything directly works. That is, well, I mean, the app itself don't have so many fancy things and is very basic, but it's cool that it works out of the box. I'm really happy with that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so first checkmark for today is done. We can let it run on each device. So Android, iOS, Apple, all of them work. Okay, so where do we begin? I think to get started, it would be good to have the smallest cleanups. So the things that are really easy to fix. And for that, I will switch again to macOS just because the performance is a little bit better than in each other device and my computer is not getting too hot. If you have a look up here, this is the fan speed at the moment. So this is my tool that I installed so that I can see how much pressure is on the machine. So hopefully it's going slowly down now again. Okay, but I think on that screen we are pretty happy. I think the debugger can be removed. So that is maybe the first thing. So debug show checked banner, so saying false. It's always good. So with that, it looks a bit more professional. And the next step would be to, I don't know, maybe have these blockers in a different color so that it doesn't look like the up there, the things. And how can we do that? This should be inside of our lesson selector. And here we have the app bar. This is the one up here. And now we have these sections, and we also did that with a custom scroll view yesterday, thanks to Cass. He had the great idea to put it inside of a custom scroll view with slivers. And now these slivers need to be a bit different. So we need to color them. Maybe we can do that. Yep, background color. And we can just pass in a color that we would like. What would be a good, yeah, we can choose that from now. On the other side, instead of writing here just the color that we would like to use, I would like to use also the design system for that. So class colors, or how do we call that? This is now our, let's call it Flashcard App colors. And inside of here we have also static const variables of color. And for example, we have our green. And this is colors.green at the moment. As easy as possible. We have to import that from the good old Dart UI. And I think this one comes from material. Yes, indeed. So, and now we can access this in our part where we want to have the color set. Of course, we could also create a theme for that and use theme off, right? That would be maybe even the better solution. I think it would be better. Okay, let's think quickly, and in the meantime we can do that. So if we take it from the theme, then it is theme.off context, and then we can say the color that we need, app bar theme dot, and here is probably the color of the app bar. The problem is this would mean that every app bar will have this color, and this is maybe not what we want. What we actually want is that we use some kind of different color here. Do we have something? Card color, card theme, color scheme? What do we have on that? Error, background, on error, on service, primary and secondary. So we could use, for example, the primary color, which is of course this blue, which makes no difference. So let's switch that to secondary and let's hope that this changed something. No, no difference, really? Okay, before I try now more, let's change it to a color. Or can I see which is the secondary color? Oh, ha. This one, and this one is like this bluish one. So why does it not change it? Colors dot, let's take yellow. I think it's always very visible. Okay, it works with the colors, so something is wrong. Do you prefer creating separated class for all these values, colors, string, diamonds, etc., or just place them in what? A single file. A single file. That's a very good question. That highly depends on how big the project is and on how many colors values I have. Usually I would put them in one file. The reason is if you check, for example, Flutter Folio. And Flutter Folio is one of the projects that I usually use as a reference because it's from G. Skinner, and they got paid from Google to create a responsive web app with a lot of things inside. GitHub. And if you check the GitHub repository of them, you will find in the lib folder also the styles.dart. And inside of here you have, for example, times, sizes, icon sizes, corners, strokes, things like that, fonts, and so on. But as you see, they also have a theme, and inside of the theme they do most of the colors, I guess. So I would do it the same way, but as you can see, they change, or they have one for the styles and one for the theme. So probably this is your answer. So I would do it nearly the same like here, or at least this is my go-to library and solution that I would take a look into, because they invested a lot of time and they had the money to have a look there. So you can see also several stars. I hope this answers your question. Cool. Back to here. So now I have this design system. We would have these colors. So what we saw right now was that they usually use it with the theme. So let's have a look on how we could do and organize that. Theme type orange light, and then they put all these infos inside. Creates an app theme from the provided type, is dark, BG1 with colors and thing. I would like to not create all of that today, because I think that would expire or would change the idea of me to have something small today. So I would keep it with the static color here for now, but I would create a to-do on top of it. Replace by a proper theme, so that we can use the theme and then we have it better. And then we could use the color here and say we want to take flashcard colors, we import that, and we take the green here. Something like that. Still an awful color, I think. You're most welcome. Glad that it helped you. So center the title, collapsed height, expanded height, flexible spaces, floating. We could also just leave the background blank, or is that not possible? I think that would be the best option. Like if we take that as colors white, I would just say, okay, keep it empty. Of course, now we have to say change also the text color. Style, text style, color, colors.white. What is happening here? So. And with that, of course not white, black. So I think with that we are a bit better on it, right? So it looks a bit cleaner. And the next step would be maybe to align it left. So align, it's on the text itself. So on the text itself we have an align, text align dot left, please. That did not work. Reason for that? Because probably the sliver app bar wants the center title false. Now it's better. And it's also a bit thicker, I think, so it's bold compared to the others. So I think that is pretty awesome. I think that's good. It's at least better than before. Could we make something that it looks a bit more like a list? We could create like a separator underneath of it. So that could be maybe something. You have learned a lot of me. That is happy with that. So the feedback is great. Thank you. But you're stuck with the Google Map API live location. How to send user location to admin to see user location? The question is who's admin, but I think Google Maps API, should be very good documented, I guess. How do you see the pub.dev, I think? And if you search for the Google Maps API, what do we see? We get this one. I think there was a nasty bug in the past. And is there not Google Maps API Flutter user location? I could imagine that there are blog posts about that. And get the current user location. How to add Google Maps in a Flutter app and get current location of the user dynamically. I think that is exactly what you need, right? So you want to have the key plugins, the Google Maps and the location plugin. You have to set the permissions and after that some code, and with a bit of luck there everything is inside. So my location on map created, initial camera position, my location enabled is true. So I guess this is the part where you have to pass in. Animate camera, new camera, camera position lat lang, LL. So probably this could help you. So feel free to check that out. Maybe it's exactly what you need. I don't know who the admin is for you, but if you just mean it should be visible on the screen, then this will help you, I hope. All right. So where is my music? Why is it silent? So back it is. Fair enough. All right. So back to my task, make this a little bit beautiful. I think that's fair enough already. But what we could do is maybe have a separator. I'm not sure if Sliver is optimizing there. To box adapter, we could just use that, fill, grid, okay. Another solution would be to give this Sliver app bar a border bottom, preferred sized, okay, so that would be a possibility. Leading pin, primary, shadow, shape, stretch. Toolbar height, elevation. Oh, we can give it an elevation? How would it look like? No difference. This property is used by configure an app bar elevation. And this is a double. What happens if I put that very high? Still no difference, right? No. Hot restart just to try it. You are most welcome. I hope it helps you, else it was for nothing. Okay, let's keep it with a basic 8 and I think, or just remove it. Do we have anything else that could help us to make it a little bit more visible that this is special? Floating. Now I think floating is not good for us. Foreground color, force elevated. Let's say true. Aha. Okay, that helps at least to make it very clear that this is a section. I like that. It's not optimal, as I said, but I think it gives us the things that we need. So this is some design stuff. So design. And what we can add is also icons into the commit messages. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I find that always a bit funny. Hey, Ojangole Jordan, nice to see you. So emoji, and I think there is emoji list or something. Get emoji website, and we can search for draw. Syringe, push, leather, okay, maybe design. No. I thought there is a painting thing, artist palette, that one, exactly. So, and then we can also add this one. It's a lot of spaces. And here we improved the, what is it? The lesson or, yeah, lecture selector. To look more or to improve usability. So if someone from my team, of the design team, watches this, I'm very sorry that it looks so ugly. If you have better ideas, please let me know. How important is it to follow a design pattern? Well, design patterns are usually at different locations, right? So it helps you a lot and it improves the readability of code usually. So that means if you have a design pattern, you know this design pattern and you know the exact location where you need the design pattern, it's perfect. Or what kind of design pattern do you mean right now? A coding design pattern or any other? Because if you have an architectural design pattern, there it is really important that you keep it, because you or your team decided on that and agreed on it, and you should keep that in track. So if there is a nice page that I shared, the design patterns page, Wikipedia, of course, always a solution, but I think, yeah, it's this guy. Or no, was it Refactoring Guru? I think Refactoring Guru it is. And he explains different factory patterns, for example, or in general patterns that you have, like factory method, abstract factory, builder method, and so on and so forth, which is pretty amazing if you know them. And if you know them well, then you have maybe the problem that you overuse it. Like you see, you have a hammer and the only tool that you have is a hammer, so everything is a nail, you know? So that's why you have to be careful to always use just one thing, even if you if there are better solutions for a different problem. So it's important to know all of them, and when you need them, to put them at the right place. So this is my recommendation. Like MVC is in this case an architectural pattern. And if you and your team agreed on it, you should follow it, of course. Then it is very important, because else the code is getting hard to maintain if there are different ways how a solution could look like. I have created an e-commerce project, but I can't use user payment method and Google Map API, so it crashes while users are more than 3. Oha, that sounds unlucky. That is now, of course, very difficult to debug for me, to give you some hints there. What I would maybe do is check again everything and read the error message once again completely, and try to find the problem, why it is getting broken after 3 users. It could be also that just your quota is reached with Google API. Not sure how big that is, to be honest. Okay, but great questions altogether. Thank you very much. Makes a lot of fun already. Okay, so we have our selection. We have increased the visibility here. So now let's go into that one. I think in the homepage screen, when we load, we show at the beginning this all cards finished, which makes no sense, because this all cards finished is actually not true at the beginning, right? We are in the loading state. We don't know if we have even questions. So at the moment we call this start lesson method. And what we want to do is, when this is called, then we want to wait until everything is there. So what we do is, or what we can do, is creating a future, a late future of void that contains this initializer. So, and we did that already at different locations, so we can do the same thing here and say, okay, we want to start this lesson and put that into init. And why do we do that? Because whenever we restart that, and I think start lesson is also created somewhere else. I think we reused that somewhere else. Exactly, down here in that icon button. Now we can also say, okay, we reinitialize that one, but we also put it inside of init. And we have to call that, of course. So now we have called that, put that in init, and with that we reinitialized our future builder, or our future inside of here. And what we can do now is, instead of pushing all of that together, we can now wrap this expanded, for example, in a future builder. Future builder. And also this we have done already. So we have a builder. And as you know, a builder, it always consists out of a context, and in our case also of a snapshot. I'll pass that in and remove that. And after the expanded, now we add our colon. Get rid of that, and with that we should be finished. Fair enough. So, but what is the next step? So we have our future builder now here, which returns then this expanded, but only if we have data in the snapshot. And if you remember the last time, we can take a look into the snapshot, which is currently not a full type, so it's just object. But we can change that by passing in something in here. And we will do that in a second. So first I want to read a bit. Can we get native Android code even we develop our app using Flutter? Yes, what you need is for that the method channel. And I always wanted to create a video about that, but it's a bit complicated. I didn't have the time for it yet. And there is a fantastic documentation from Flutter also on how you can do that. So you can call, for example, with your Flutter method channel, an app delegate on an iOS host, or with the method channel, an Android host. So I will just put that link here inside, but you will have to read a little bit and try a bit around. Until now, there is not so much tutorial besides of that. So have a look and hopefully you can achieve your goal with it. Okay. Let's take a break. Let's breathe. It's Sunday. I should make it all a bit more calm, right? You're most welcome. So let's drink something. Okay, we created a future builder. We have our builder already ready. And now we need to type our snapshot. What do we get back actually? So first, inside of our future builder, we have more than the builder. We have also our future, which is init. Fair enough, right? And as we know, this init does not return anything. So the reason we say here void. And with that, this snapshot will never have data. That is very important to know. So that means if I call this snapshot.hasData, I will never come into that, I guess. So we can try that, but I'm pretty sure we should never come into that plane. So let's do that. And with that, we would now always show the expanded. And only if this snapshot resolves, we would get this container. So let's see. Field has not been initialized. Okay, that is because we have created that new. Hot restart in the state. Select that one. And is that now wrong or right? Yeah, it's right, because we never have gone into this container here, right? So if I would print here, never been here. Can try that and hot restart. Up. And I think we have also to return something just to make a point. So, and if we hot restart, we load, we go into the lesson and no print statement. So we don't get data even though that init has been resolved. We know that now. So the issue is now how or what can we do to get more information. So instead of using this hasData, we can check the init, and this init method returns always, don't return something, but it changes the state of different things. Like for example, that questions answer list, right? That we rely on. So what we could say inside of here, so if this one is empty, in the builder, we say if this one is empty, then we return a circular progress indicator. So, of course, this is a const, right? And with that, we return that, get some braces, good. So what happens now? So if I hot restart once more. Oh, we crashed badly. Okay, that was wild. Some overflow field has not been initialized. Okay, so this could be also null. It could be null. But we say that this is late, right? So we cannot access it like that. It's not possible. Grr, not good. Okay, that was not what I thought. Another idea would be that we return something. That this returns now a bool value. So like initialized, yes. And we say return true. And with that, if this start lesson now returns true, then this one is a boolean. And inside of our future builder, here, we can say we get a bool back. And this could already help us because now we get an async snapshot back from type boolean. And that allows us now to say, okay, if snapshot.hasData, then we return a text widget called hasData. So possibility that could work. Let's have a look. We hot restart to make everything happy. We select one and we have the data. Perfect. That's maybe not the best solution again, but it works and it makes the things cleaner. Hey, long time no see, 4025. I think Mohammed was your name, right? If I remember, you wrote me there something. Okay, so we have the data now. We know we have data inside of that snapshot, and this is exactly what we want. So now we want to make this all visible here inside. So we return this expanded when we have data. If we do not have data, we show a circular progress indicator. And last but not least, it could be also that we have an error. So snapshot.hasError. And inside of here, we, I don't know, return a text widget which says, sorry, something went wrong. Please try it later again. So actually this should never happen. So it's never possible that there comes an error, but you know, you never know. Hey Hamish, nice to see you. I saw yesterday that you came right in the last second and wrote something. It was a bit unlucky. The keyboard visualizer that you are using is a paid one. So is there a free alternative for it? I hope that there is somewhere a free alternative. I couldn't find one. That was real pity. So the key drawer that I use here is a paid one because I couldn't really find one for Mac. I think for Windows there exists free key show visibilities, but I couldn't find one for that. Else I wouldn't use that paid one. So we'll show the scroller and then we get the data. And what happens if we are finished? Then we show the text. Perfect. Exactly what we want. So that's a good thing. So when we initialize, we get the data. And what happens if I restart? Then it's just taking a second. Okay, but if we get the data, what we could do... but this is a thing for later. For now, we get the data. We have this part. And then we show the circular progress indicator. And I think that one should be centered. Is that possible? So remove that const here and get it through all. No? Aha. Yeah, it works, kind of. But we are in a column, right? So we have to say this one mains axis alignment dot center. I'm happy that everyone drives it that crazy that if stuff is not centered. Perfect, now it works. Okay, so we have managed it to center it actually, and everything else still works the same. Good. Next step, I don't know why, but the lesson selector loading indicator is also not centered, which also drives me nuts. So I have that as a next. So we have also here a future builder, if you remember. And also this one needs to be centered and lives it also in a no. So that should be even easier. Oops, not wrap it again. Remove the const and add it. So with a piece of luck, if I hot restart, here we are in the center. Good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Here's also loading in the center. We get the text, we can accept it, and we get the text here. Because we are currently don't save any stats to make it releasable, I would say, we just remove these stats for now. So we say this below here can be removed because at the moment we only say congratulations, you have finished all your cards. And maybe what we can do is instead of having this button down here, we now show a bigger button here, like restart or something like that. So we can create here, we have const at the moment. So if we use this text, then we can now show below the opposite of a raised button, the new raised button. How is the name? The raised button is elevated button, of course. So elevated button. I'm pretty sure you knew all that, right? So so this is a const now, and on pressed we do something, and we have a title, I guess. Do I have to import something? No, a child, which is a text widget which says repeat lesson. So and in this const now we would like to repeat lesson, exactly. So, and if we press that, we would like to repeat the thing, and I think we have already the optimal part of it. That would be this icon button here. We would like to do this. I'm not sure if we even have to call set state inside of here. If I think about it, we would like to show now the future builder again, right? So we would like to reload the state. So in order to do that, we have set state, and then we call this method here. Yeah, looks good. And I think this is the method that we also want to do up here. Oops. Okay, maybe I should write it again. So this called set state, and inside of here we have a method that does this. Okay. Looks very interesting. But it works, I guess. So let's see if we hot restart. And now we finish one of our questions like salam. And we repeat our lesson. Huh. That's sad. Okay, the button down here works, but actually we don't show the reload. And here that doesn't work at all. Unpressed calls a method. Yeah, that's a bit too much, I guess. So that would be it. So repeat. Aha, now it works. Good, but sadly the set state didn't help us. Okay, so we can remove that again. So it doesn't clean up the future builder, unfortunately. Oops. And this is some JavaScript stuff. We don't want that. So onPressed calls this. Good. Okay, loading. Got our data. We accept. We repeat. Perfect. Good. Then put some size box in between, and I think we are pretty happy. Size box. Height of, I don't know, insets dot medium and const modifier. Fair enough. And that looks already pretty good. Maybe we should also allow from these buttons here not only to repeat the lesson, but also to navigate back to the screen beforehand. Hey Debug, nice to see you. How are you? Did you have a great Sunday? Thank you for letting me know that my stream was down 2 days ago, but sadly the internet provider was just shut. I had no option. It was really a sad thing. Okay, and what we could go back to lecture selection. And here we want to call lesson selector screen dot navigate to with the context. I'm pretty sure this we can import, but navigate to does not exist. That's true. I'm amazing. Perfect Sunday to have a stream. So, and we do the same thing like we did up here, where we navigator pushed the material root. And the only thing is we don't need a spreadsheet and we don't need the home page. We have the lesson selector screen for that. Can be a const, good enough, and done. So with that, we can navigate back and forth, and we have the 2 buttons, and we load our sections, and this works also cleanly. Perfect. So back to here, and thank you for subscribing, Bernd Heinzelmann. What a perfect German name. Good. So in between of these, we want also to have a sized box again, just to have it a bit more breathing. So, and that's it. And I think we have something which is pretty okay-ish, I guess. It would be maybe perfect if both buttons are aligned, but I'm not sure if this is quite necessary. Okay. I think what we also want, if these buttons we don't need if we are finished, right? So whenever we have asked all questions, so here we currently say card flipped, and I think all card is finished. If this is also true, no, not and, it would be an or. Wait, I have to think. So if the card is flipped, then we want to show the buttons. Else we don't want to show them. Cards flipped or all cards finished. Yeah, that's correct, I guess. Oh, maybe I have to hit hot restart quickly. Okay, now it's always visible. Also not what I wanted. Thank you for subscribing, Beam Stream Bot 1. Ah, finally a new bot. Who don't love spots? So now it's always interesting. Okay, so why is that the case? So if all cards is finished, if card flipped is true, so repeat lesson, now it is false. Now it is true. But all card is finished should be false, right? Mm-hmm. So if all cards is finished is true, then we show them. And if they are not, then we don't show them. Ah, I don't understand. Why do we see them still? Okay, maybe our logic is a bit different. So when do we show this build loading spinner? We have it by all cards is finished. Then we have these ignore pointers. And this all cards, it's somehow, the row is part of something else. Card flipped. But actually this is only important for us actually inside of this part here. So inside of the future builder. Okay, we could take more time to that, but I think for now this is okay-ish, and we will push also this design improvement. So perfect loading spinners. We have now buttons to navigate and also restart the current lecture. Did we do anything else? I think not. So that's it for here. So with that in mind, we have now the loading spinners. We come to these cards. We still have the possibility to add more. So whenever you have the time, or if you are interested, feel free to add more cards to here, or also more information, because we will have them immediately in our app. So I will also share the link once more. So feel free to add your ideas. So if you want to improve Flutter learnings, just add here, for example, I don't know, we have now stateful-less and stateful widget, but maybe material is the package that contains all knowledge or all design system information about Google material, something like that. So, and with that, if we hot reload and go back and ask for Flutter Learning 1, now we would get the Flutter widgets, we get the stateful widgets and material. Maybe also here, if this is getting too long, then we should make also this a bit more optimal, I guess, right? So let's have a look how we can do that. Inside of our package, inside of the cards, we can have a look. All cards are finished. Maybe we need to optimize our widget tree a little bit. That's too big slowly, right? We have a lot of widgets driving around. So what is what and where is what? So we have this column with a children, which contains that card flipped. So these buttons are inside of the column, and then we have the future builder on top of it. So what could we do? To make these text aligned in the center, we would need to have this card flipped. We have this text, and I think this text has the text alignment, align.center. And I'm not sure, but I think that is of this part. So remove that, adding that. Now it is centered, perfect. And inside of the card, we could have more spacing and things, but I think for now this is pretty good. Okay, so let's head over to our next one, design, improve card visualization. Yep. Oh no, I'm working completely on main at the moment. That's not good. So we have to create a new branch, MD Webber, I don't know, design improvements. Okay, and this one can be pushed. So, and do we have anything else? I think for now this is pretty okay-ish, where we have the best possibilities. Ooh, who visit me here? The super spider cat. And now that we have pushed all of that, and this looks not perfect, but well, better than before, I would say. Now we have the possibility to go to the next part. Why is it now a little bit... Oh, there is a back button everywhere. That's great. Okay, so you remember maybe yesterday we used an app bar everywhere. So we had the not only this app bar, now we have everywhere a back button, because all of them behave the same like the one up here. And I was now surprised because all of them work, which is pretty cool, but it looks odd to have so many back buttons. So I think this is a bug that is amazing and I really like it. So have a look. I think inside of this has data, we have these slivers, and in this sliver app bar, we have now to say that the back button is not allowed. So do we have a way to do that? Elevation, action, backward, bottom. I have the bad feeling that we maybe cannot use the app bar, the sliver app bar in this case. Leading with, on stretch, triggered, primary, shape, snap, primary bool. What does primary mean? This property is used to configure an app bar. Thank you very much for that information. Very useful. So what means primary? The leading widget is the top left. Is omitted, but with the draw, then leading, title, app bar, flexible space, actions. Color scheme primary is overall the brightest. Not sure, but what we can try is, if this is not the primary app bar, maybe now it removes already the back buttons. No. App bar, remove back button. I hope I don't have to create an own widget for that, because that would cost time again, but yeah, would be a solution. Don't want to display that ugly back button and thus go for don't want to show and replacing current view. Automatically imply leading. Okay, let's say false here. And it doesn't imply leading anymore. So this is a solution. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Funny enough. So we have that. We have these things in mind that works. Is there anything? No, I don't think so. So we can commit that for now. And removed back button from chapters. Good. And with that, I think we can already start with merging that. So we have to go to our pull request part, and I don't have an issue for that now. So what we can do is creating first the issue. Not really necessary if you work alone, but we talked that we have our to-do list here, and I was sloppy and did not do it correctly. So currently the app has some problems like spacing, centering of loading spinners, and not optimal text visibility. Also, it would be good to have buttons after all flashcards are finished to restart and navigate back to the lesson selection screen. So it's part of the project, the MVP. I assign it to myself at the moment, and that's it. And now we can create a pull request for that issue. As I said, usually you first create the issue and after that a pull request, but today it's Sunday, you know, system improvements. So what did we do? We added. So for that we can now create something like that. So we added the loading spinners should all align in the center now. Then we have improved text visibility in the cards. Also, what did we do? We show now 2 buttons after all cards are finished to restart. Oh, I think we can also put 2 lines here and say to restart the current cards or to navigate back to the lesson selection screen. Nice one. So, and we create a pull request, and I think it is linked already. Perfect. Now I can tick them off because we have done them. I could have that also done inside of Markdown, but I'm lazy. So, and now you could be so kind to review that. I can maybe share that with you. So if you have some comments on it, feel free to add them. You have some seconds time till the pipeline is running through. So we have this to do. Actually, we should maybe fix that. Or if we would have a proper project inside of my team and everything, we would create that now, because never create a to-do in the code if it's not necessary. Then we can have a look. Okay, debug, show checked mode banner. Okay, we removed that. We call this init function. Also not the best solution at the moment, but hey, it works. So feature before skill. So that's also good. And we have some color changes and the circle indicator. Fair enough. So then we can, I could maybe comment myself, say legitimate, but you know, feel free to have a look. And in the meantime, we wait for the build pipeline. maybe we forgot something with Flutter Analyze or something, so don't make these mistakes. Flutter Analyze, let's see if I'm locally faster. All good, so that looks good. If the tests are also running green, then we are happy. And besides of that, I think this should be done. But now I could sit back and relax and drink a nice cup of coffee. But in general, this is time that you can also use to work further, because what we can do, for example, we have to delete the main branch for now. Also, I think master is not necessary. And we create a new branch from the main. So inside we get branches, call new branch, MD Weber, documentation improvements. So, and this is another topic that we have to do, because at the moment, if we take a look into our readme.md, it looks very shrink and very slim, which can be a good thing, but is also a bad thing, because if it is so small, not every developer knows how to do certain things inside of your project. So we could explain a little bit more how we can, or what we want to achieve. So let's have a look if we can write something better than just getting started from Flutter, which everyone knows usually. So we can remove that probably. And what would be more interesting is, for example, on how to run our tests. Yeah, so tests would be an interesting part, because we use the build runner to create our Mockito. So this package uses Mockito and build runner. So before you run your tests, you will need to execute code. And what will be executed? Let's go to the terminal. I think I have it here somewhere. Flutter packages pub run build runner build. So, and if you think, okay, this is now Markdown, I don't know that very well. There are a lot of good sources where you can learn more about Markdown and how to write it best. Also, I think in IntelliJ there should be a plugin. I'm not sure if I've installed that actually. Markdown. It's pre-installed anyway, where you can have all these benefits here. And I'm not even sure if there is like a visualizer like Markdown editor actions. What can we do here? Decrease introduction. Okay, don't need that. Layouts, hide, plugins. No. I thought that we have like this two view, because usually documentation I write more with Visual Studio Code. Why is that the case? Because you get this nice little preview, and it's usually a bit faster for usual text documentations. So also that is maybe an interesting tip for you. So Markdown all in one, can install that. And if we, for example, now open our folder, let me think, it should be Android projects. Oh God, I have so many of them. So this is the Flashcard project. Flashcard. Flutter. Flashcard. So, and open that one up. Don't save. And inside of here we have the readme.md. And I think if I opened it up, I think there was F1 is the key, Markdown, update, create table of content, toggle code block, toggle list, open preview. So with that, you can open up the preview. And this is the idea on how you will see it later for inside of the readme.md. So we can split that up also and put the preview on the right side. So during I'm writing here now, so for example, tests, getting started, I think would be also getting started. This is a Flutter project that works on iOS, Android, web, and Mac OS, and allows, I'll keep it for now. This is a Flutter project that works. So now we can add, for example, Flutter project, add some links with that. So like so, going to the website of flutter.dev and this one, adding Flutter Dev as a link. So all of that makes your website also more strong and important for open source people. So if someone is interested. Also, what I usually do is we have now a GitHub Actions pipeline, if you remember. And this pipeline gives us the opportunity, if I have that right in mind, to see if the main branch was working correctly. And if I'm not sure, we can create a status badge here. And if I do that, we say we use the main branch or the default branch. I think it's the same in this case. And we can say what part has been running, and we say default, and we copy the status badge. And what happens now if I do that in Visual Studio Code and add that here, we get this nice little badge that shows us, hey, the pipeline is passing, and a link to that run that we have there. Use command space for autocomplete hints. Really? Command space does not work for me. That's opening up that, but I think, yeah, it's control space. Nice. And then we have all the things, strike through and things. Nice. Thank you, Deepak. Great stuff. Hey, do you have a preview on how it's gonna look like? What do you mean? The Flashcard app? I mean, we have started already with it and it looks already pretty promising. I'm not sure why the text was now wrong again and broken, but because we are on the old branch again. So yeah, feel free to check it out. It works already. So it's already done and we can create our lections here in this folder and you can help there if you would like to. And inside of this folder, you can then directly open that up in our app, because we read now these folders in our app. And inside of here, we have, for example, different translations that we then can see here immediately. Like so, and we get it as hello. So always on the left side, you will find the hint, and on the right side, you will always find the answer to it. And the cool thing is, if we think about, for example, learning Flutter, we can also have longer texts, more information, maybe links in the future, and things like that. So that we are able to show more and more things here inside and can improve that as an open source project. The whole thing is open source, so feel free to check it out. And if you have ideas, feel free to create issues or help me with them. Would be very honored. Okay, but let's go further with the Flashcard project. I think we had a name, but I think Flashcard was the last name that I had in mind. So do you like the name? Do you have better names for this project? Please let me know now, then I would rename the project. Also inside of the Flutter and PubSpec and everything. So until then, we will call it Flashcard. I think Flashcard, like this, I think. Not sure. I have to relook into the comments that we got for that. Perfect, Joanne, great stuff. Okay, so we have that. We have getting started. What else do we need? We need a link to the GitHub repository, to the Google Drive. I think we should add that too inside of the repository so that everyone can join. So getting started. If you want to contribute to the flashcards that will be shown or available in the app, feel free to add more spreadsheets and folders to the following link. So, adding all that, I think we will have a breakpoint here. Good. Make sure to, and I think I make an own section for that. So this is adding more flashcards. Make sure to keep the folder structure as following. And what I would like to have is we have the flashcard let's keep it like that, like name of lecture. And then we have like lesson dot, yeah, this is the spreadsheet. Something like that. So that makes sure that we have always the same structure. Everything else cannot be loaded. And I think if it's not can be loaded currently, we would throw just an error. Would that lead to a problem? Actually, that's a good question. So we have to make sure that this is hardened, I guess. But until then, that's okay-ish, I guess, for now. Else we would create an issue for that. Okay, so we can create more flashcards and so on. To build them. So the tests are running, and we could add also the contributors. And here there is a fantastic GitHub package. GitHub show all contributors. So we have there multiple possibilities, I think. This is not it. Viewing a project's contributor reorg. Here, recognize all contributors, not only the one that you push. I have never used this plugin, so I will try that for now, if we maybe can use that immediately. So how does that work? Install the bot, okay. Install the all contributors GitHub app. Install the GitHub app, okay. Use my account for that, or only selected repositories. Doesn't need to be everywhere. That would be the Flashcard chat app. Flash chat app, no, that's not it. That is from Angela Yu. Flashcard project. We install the whole thing. Getting my account. Good. So, okay, Orcon was installed. That's good. We have the repository and we don't want to remove it yet. So, and what would be the next step here? Add new contributors in seconds. We have built a bot to automate the tedious stuff for adding projects contributors. So you can stay focused instead of managing your README. Okay, read documentation, please. The contributors are below the example. Okay. What's next? The all attributors emoji key. Notes for repository automating the process using tools. Installation usage. On issues or pull asking all contributors to add a contributor. Okay. The bot will then create a contributor. Ah, okay. I will have to ask the contributor in the pull request, and then it creates an to add whoever. Okay. And how do I show these informations now in the README configuration? All contributors. CLI installation project, how? Add, generate, update your contribution MD. Okay, option add shortcut script. Okay, that's not what I want. How does that look like here? We have this contributor part. Thanks goes to wonderful people. This project follows the So if I would like to, let's have quickly a fork of that. Oh, we have it already. Perfect. So how can we add that? It's markdown lint restore prettier all contributor list double colon end. Do not remove or modify this section. Okay. So let's see, maybe it's already added. I'm not sure about that. No, of course not. We have not even started. So if we would do something like that. Maybe I have to do that in a pull request now. Wait. wait a second. We have now this overview, and here we have the usage, and then was it all contributors please add? So let's try that. So we put here, instead of this legitimate, we add now this one. Please add myself 4 contributors, and let's see what happens. Please add 4 contributions. What does contribution mean? See the emoji key, contribution type reference, okay. Audio, ally, bug, block, business code, reporting or working accessible, data, doc, financial, ideas, infra, mentoring. Geez, there is a lot of things. Okay, so what we will use is, for example, for myself, the code. So the contribution is code. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Create improvements. So the question is, why is it not working? Automatically adds content knowledge according to the comment on an issue or pull request with all contributors please add for infrastructure test and code. Did I not do that? You know what? I try that once more. So we take it. Please add, not this guy, myself for infrastructure test and code update. That's great. I really like to hear that. If I'm inspiring, that's a good solution. Then most of the stuff I'm doing is not for nothing. We have to have this. Now, all about behavior, all the data used to generate the contributors list will be stored in there, and you can configure how you want all contributor. You are viewing the bot configuration, which is similar to the CLI configuration. You want to implement a spec, but don't want to maintain the table by hand. So yeah, exactly. This module is distributed via npm bundled in Node. You should be installed at least one for your dev dependency. Is it only working for update your contribution? Consider update. Yeah, this is a problem because the most things are working with npm and yarn, and we don't have an npm package here, so probably we cannot even use it. That's a shame. Okay, so forgot what I said. It was just an idea. So yeah, that didn't work out. Okay. But this brings us still to the other thing. We have the contributors list. We will add them. What we can do is maybe adding coming soon to it. Something like that. And what we else need is inside of this package, we want to have contributors in general. So what we will do is we add a contributors MD, which is a file that helps other people on knowing how to contribute to this project. So for now, I will update that and call that documentation. And what we have done is we improved the Readme MD file to start the project. And push. So with that, if we reload here and go to the right branch, that is important now. If we go here, then we will see that new documentation with the Dart style up here and so on and so forth. And also, if you want to have more of these shields, you can search for GitHub shields. And there is a package, this one, that I will share with you. And there you have the possibility to create your own shields if you want for your project. Like things like that, bakers, contributors, blah, blah, blah. All of that is possible. If you ask now how, I think we don't need that. We just need the badges at the end. Where do we get the badges from? There was another page, I think. Server code. Yeah, this one. It looks a bit ugly, but we can do nearly everything with these shields here. So for example, if we take this one, We can enter a label here, like, I don't know, Flutter explained, and the color is red. So make the badge, and we can see this one. So for example, if we want to have this, I can take this image shield, just the URL, and on how to add that, we can check how the shields.io, the page where we have before, how they added these parts here. So if you check the Readme file, and we don't want it so like raw, then we can see this is just implemented as an image at the end. So we can do the same thing here. And I think this is not correct. This is like so. No? Where do we see the code? Ah, here. Ah, I didn't know that. I thought I use it in my projects usually with Markdown immediately. So let me have a look in my other projects. We use these shields everywhere. And then, yeah, you see, we use it with Markdown immediately, which I find a bit more, yeah, correct at the end. So in my part, I will add these links. No, not really, because it's an open source project, so I will not add these links. Has nothing to do with me, it's our community project, right? So, and with that, we can compare that and add these documentations, and I create it. So we have already 2 pull requests running side by side. Crazy. And what we can do is also, if we search here a little bit, there are also other things like contributors, I thought at least. Branches, integrations, pages. No, this is just for that. We have environments. I thought we have somewhere the possibility to add these contribution MD files. Okay, GitHub contribution MD template. Let's have a look if we find something. Good contribution MD template MD. So what do we have? When contributing, please first discuss the changes you wish to make via issue, email, or other method with the owner. Please note we have a code of conduct, please follow that. Ensure any installed build dependency are removed before the end layer when doing a build. Update the Readme MD with details of changes to the interface. That's not completely true, we would call that a changelog. Code of conduct, our page, using welcome inclusive language, gracefully accept constructive criticism. Yeah, so that sounds already pretty good. So, and this one is free to use, I hope. Is it? Huh. A lot of people who are using it, I guess. So what I will do is, for now, scope, this applies to both. Oh, nice. There's even, cool. So can I somehow use this without forking it directly? How do other people using this? Holocron IT. Okay, so we are not the only one who forking this stuff. Yeah, so maybe it's a good idea to just reuse that one. Select the raw. Let's select the raw. Yeah, I can just copy that one over. So if we go to our Visual Studio, then we can create now a contributions MD. Contributions MD. I think contributions MD is the correct name, right? Let me quickly look again. Contributing MD. Let's search for the Flutter project quickly, because they have made also a lot of effort into it. It can be done from settings too. Really, I don't know where, to be honest. So you can see the Flutter project also keeps that. And it's contributing MD. And you say you can create that from the settings. I couldn't find it. So settings, we have the options. We have wikis, restricted, issues. We can set up a template. bug report feature, custom template, no. So, what do you mean if I go to the documentation and I say add a file, create a new file, contributing.md? Will it understand that? No, not really. So, and abusive insert email address. That would be max or Flutter explained at gmail.com. To the inside tab, okay. Sure, with pleasure, leave the page. So inside, yeah, you're right, that's it. Yep, I remember. Community, here it is, code of conduct, contributing, writing, contributing, add them. Yeah. And it creates it automatically in main. Thank you so much, that's exactly. The members of this channel, just perfect people. So we have that enforcement, our code of conduct, exactly. So we can commit that. And now, whenever you create an issue or something, you should usually see some ideas of the contribution guidelines here. So, and you come back to this contribution guideline, which I really like. So everyone knows what to expect from this part here. And we can also check a little bit the other parts that we have here, like community, what was still missing, a description. We will do that in a sec. Then we have code of conduct. We wrote that inside of our contribution, but we could actually change that also and take the code of conduct out here and put that somewhere else. So that would be also possible. Scope, enforcement, attribution. Yeah, I think that would make even sense, maybe. Not even sure if this is... So if we take all that to our standards, our pledge, our code of conduct, taking that away, commit, keeping the contribution like this, and then have an own code of conduct part, community, code of conduct. And we can even use that one. You see, then we don't even have to add all of that. And I think it's pretty long. Purpose, flashcard, reporting, contact info. Ooh, crazy. I will keep that one. I think I like that one. It's easier. At gmail.com. Review and submit. I'm happy with it. But what we can do is maybe adding it to the branch document MD whoever. Sorry for that. Documentation improvements. Is it possible? Commit new file. I miswrote myself. That's unlucky. Okay, so instead of doing this, just commit it to main and put it inside commit. Fair enough. So we have now the contribution, the code of conduct. I think that we need something else. Thank you very much. So issue template is also very useful usually. So if you want to create bugs, then you can have this bug report inside. Or if you want to have a feature, then you have also small dedication to it. And you don't really have to do something because we just commit them. And with that, you will find them in the GitHub. We have the issue templates. And the cool thing is when so if you create a new issue, then you can select here if you have a bug that you want to report or a feature that you would like to request. And depending on which you click now, you get the different package and with all the information. So you can remove all of that if you want to, but it gives you like a default structure, which is very easy to apply and everyone knows what he needs to write. Okay, so for that, we can also put that improvement inside. So that is now our Readme improvement. Create. No, that is something else. This is our code of conduct. I think we can close that one. That was a mistake. And I think it was this one, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think we can merge that. Confirm. Improve the README file. We can delete the branch. And with the other one, design system improvements, I think nobody had any comments on this, but if you would have comments, you could go here into code. You got the link and could add something, could write like, hey, Max, this line is really stupid. Change it, please. And then you could add a single comment, or you could create a review for that. Resolve. Review the files. So, what do you mean? From this one here, but we already viewed them, right? We had already a look into them, but we can do it once more just to make sure. So I unviewed them. And if you want to review them yourself, you can have here a look. So, and now we can have a look. Okay, so the design system got 2 new imports, which should be actually empty. So that's why we should use a proper theme, because they should not depend on anything. Then we have the main, where we remove the debug banner. We have created this future to have loaded the whole thing. We changed that to a Boolean. We use this init future to reload our information, got a snapshot, showed the data, got some infos here. We updated the init where we needed it, and our loading spinner at the end shows now more information. So this bold loading spinner is actually a mistake. Change the name of this internal method. It is not a loading spinner, it is the end text screen. End text, something like that. So, add it. We navigate, that is okay. We have text, and yeah. But I think that was very valuable. So, because we saw that, we have now to change the branch. So we go to branches, design improvements. And if we take a look into the home page and scroll completely to the bottom, we have this build loading spinner, but this is actually the final text, right? So build final text or success text, like congratulations. And it's not only the text, it's also the buttons. So it's like success page. Maybe it's even worth to create an own widget for that. I think that is maybe the best option. So inside of screens, we will create a directory home. Home because of homepage, so we could also rename it to homepage. And inside of here, we would have like the completion screen or completion widget. Wait, completion widget. Dart. And because it's only a widget, we create a stateless widget here. Completion widget. We extend, that's all good. I'm not sure if this was okay-ish. There was something too much, I guess. So we import our material design, and what we return is not a container. We return now this whole column here. So, and we have to import some things, for example, the lesson selector screen for the navigation. Oh, and we get some issues with the init part. So we cannot just have the callback here, we have to move some things, but that's okay, we can do that. Get the insets. So the only thing is that on pressed here. And what we can do is we create a parameter that we need, like the on pressed, which is a function. And this is a void callback. And this on pressed will replace whatever happens here. Yep. And we take this one level higher. So that is calling on pressed. Is it this on pressed? No. Why is it red? undefined name on pressed. Do I have to create that here? Void callback is on pressed. And then we say here this on pressed. And now this cannot be const anymore, I guess. So fair enough. And this is final. So way better. Oh, it can be a const. Okay. So whenever we create that now, so wherever this build success screen, we replace that now by the completion widget. Completion widget. Yep. We now have to pass in the on pressed element. And probably I didn't make it named, or I did. Make an object for void callback. An object for void callback. Was it this way? No. Make an object for void callback. Why? Wait, slowly, something doesn't work like I expected, which is a bit weird. So we want to have this completion widget, and I told that this contains an onPressed method, right? So, and this is the method itself, I guess. So this is not named at the moment. So I want to have this onPressed inside of this named parameter. And why is it not working now? Can't have the value null because of its type, but the implicit default required is null, so you are required. I think with that we are green again, so you are red again because you need onPressed. And this we can import from here. So. It looks a bit ugly now, but okay. That should work. We have the completion widget, which gets the onPressed. We call that one, this one is pressed, and we execute it here. Okay. Of course, we have to hot restart. And I did somewhere a mistake. We get errors in our app. So we press F2. And of course, this can be gone. We don't need that. And one import is gone, probably. Yeah. Up and hot restart. So let's see if everything works still. Yeah, all good. Okay, so this is a small improvement just to make it more readable. So this is yeah, is it a refactor? Yeah, I guess so. Extracted a widget to make the code better readable and maintainable. Cool. So that's the benefit of code reviews. So you can check once more if your code is still good and if you missed something or you should maybe do something differently. So even if your own code is somewhere, try to take your time and read it once more, because you always find something that you can change or improve or make better and stuff like that. So take your time with that things, right? Okay, but for now, I'm happy with it. I think we didn't get any other parts. So what we do is, this one is anyway, but here, for example, we can give now a thumbs up and we resolve this conversation because it has changed. And now with all happiness, this should be running through. And if the build pipeline is green, we can merge it. So then we have this, we have better texts and names. Then we could maybe update also the pubspec.yaml file a little bit, because I think at the moment we don't have everything here. And what could also happen is that this merge request is not mergeable. And the reason is because it could have changes that we are working against. So we have, how do we call it? Conflicts with other files. But don't be in the rush. Let's have a look how the pull request build here is working. Go, go, go. Pub.get is running. And I think the test data learn English is also not necessary anymore, right? But I think we wanted to keep it because we don't know if we need it in the future. Okay, maybe we can change in the meantime the about page here. So in the about, you want to quickly give a people overview what you want to achieve with this solution. So it's a flashcard app where you can learn different topics and create new own flashcards in Google Drive. So this is learning, education, okay, learning, education, development, I don't know, things like that, flashcards. Good. And we don't have a website yet, so but what I would like to do, as you can see, it already navigates me to MD Weber, GitHub IO, and then Flashcard project. And the idea is for me to create inside of MD Weber, this is my GitHub user account. If you remember, we have this, we made this, this GitHub page. So mdweber.github.io is it, I think. We navigate to this page here, which was one of my first tries to create an own Flutter website somewhere. So it's still live, it still works. So that is a good thing, right? But what I would like to do is creating like a sub page here, like flashcard. And with that, we would go then to that website here. And then we maybe have the Flutter app deployed there. So something like that. I currently have not the chance to do it, but maybe, well, maybe in 10 minutes we can do that. I'm not sure. Okay, so we have all that. We can rebase and merge. That worked perfectly. Build pipeline is still green. And with that, we should be in a good state. And we already did something again. Good, we have that. We have the contributors soon. Code of conducts, contributions, license, readme. We have the about page. Good. I think we can create our first release that we could call MVP. We choose a tag. Or can we releases, create a new release? So that would be our MVP version 001. So very high. Create new tag on publish. Yep. Choose a tag. I think, can we? No. Okay, that happens automatically. We use main for that. And then we can describe what the release contains. So it is the minimal approach to create a flashcard app with the source or data source of Google Docs. So what we can add also here is we had this emoji list, if you remember. So inside of here, we usually use the tada for release, or I do it, so party popper, and put that in front because, hey, it's our first release. We should be celebrating it. And now we can say, okay, this is minimal viable product, MVP release. What does it do? We have the selection of the lecture. and learn from the flashcards of the lecture. Restart the session, and yeah, that's probably it, what we have done. So we can save the draft, or we can even publish the release. This draft won't be saved to public unless it's published. Okay. Attach binary? No, I don't have them. Create a tag on publish. Doesn't work. What do I do wrong? We need to have a tag somehow. They are not releases tagging specific points of history. Can I not choose a tag? Create a tag? How can I create a tag? Release are powered by tagging specific points in history in the repository. They are great to marking release points like V0. Exactly. So how do I create a tag? Nothing to show. View all tags. Create a new release. There is the draft. Edit. Can I? We weren't able to create a release for you. Make sure you have a valid tag. It's common practice to prefix your version names with V letters. Some good tag names may be V1. If the tag isn't meant for production use, add a pre-release version after the version name. Some good pre-release semantic versioning. Okay, but all of that is good and fine. Or create a new tag on publish. Interesting. So that is a bit weird. Target main. Choose a tag. Create a new. I have to create it myself. Okay, got it. So V001. And now we create it. You know, we have to write things manually. Not everything is done for us. So, but we have our first release. We have our source stuff. Now we can even celebrate it more with more tadas. But this gives us already the first option here. We have our release. And yeah, so we can maybe add our things here. Okay, so much to GitHub. Oh, that was the wrong one. I think, hopefully, Flashcard. Do I have it? No. Flashcard project. Here we go. Okay, but we have already a lot of things done. And now what I would like to do is taking a look if we can release that to this MD Weber GitHub IO page, if this is possible. So if I think about it, I have this MD Weber GitHub.github.io. I think that should be the name of the page, right? Was there not repository MD Weber? Oh, I have so many packages. I think this one is it. No, this is myself. No. Gatsby, all contributors, blah blah blah, Flutter, GitHub. Here we go. MD Weber GitHub IO. So this package is the web release of all information that we have. And if I want to show it on a different / command, we would have to create an own folder for that, I guess. So how could I do that? I could... So we would need to copy that one, I guess. Is it like that? Not sure. So what we would do is we create now the Flutter project and build it for web. And how can we do that? We go to the terminal, and now here inside we want to build it for web. Clear Flutter build web release. So, and if we do that, we are building with null safety, which is pretty strong. We put all that, and inside of our build folder, there happens to have a web folder. And inside of here, we get now our releasable values inside. So there will be now our website. And I'm not sure if we can do it like it is about page mentioned, but let's have a look. I have never done that. So inside of our Flashcard project, here we promise that Flashcard project on our website would be the exact right path. So inside of this web, we get now all the infos. And if I start this inside of a browser, we should already see that this is the correct part. Compare, open in Finder, for example. You can open up. Let's see if this works. Nope, not like that. But all these files should be now inside of our GitHub repository of MD Weber GitHub IO. So how can we do that? One solution, and maybe the easiest, is just copy paste. That would be the first initial try that we do. But I would like to have that in our GitHub actions afterwards, so that I don't have to do all of that always manually. So we clone our project, and yes, that's good. And we use a new window for that, so that we have a bit space. And as you know, Android Studio is not really happy with everything that is not Flutter or Android or Dart related. So at the moment, we don't get a lot of support here inside. But what we want to have is inside of that flashcard_project. So we create a new directory, flashcard_project. And inside of here, we want now to have all the infos that we have here in this build folder. So if you remember, everything here is our finished build. And now we copy that over inside of this project here. And I just use this folder here, or this thing here, to push something up the repository. So I will add the Flashcard project to GitHub pages. And we push. I hope we don't need anything from that. There is a manifest JSON. Is there anything that we have to discover? Start URL is dot. A new Flutter project, yeah, could be. Flashcard, manifest JSON. Aha, it has its own, so it's also dot. So let's have a look if this works. I'm absolutely not sure. Hey, ELH, thanks for subscribing. And we can add Flutter, of course. Up. So now, if this worked, we have now our /flashcard_project, and nothing happens. That can be. And we get redirected back to the Premiere page. So do we have something for the GitHub pages? And now it's directoried in its own pack. Your site is published at MD Weber, good. Your page is currently being built from the master branch, root. Okay. /docs. Custom domain, enforce HTTPS. Yeah, that's all good. I'm not sure if this with the / command is working. Ah, can I... Wait, that would be cool. Can I use that inside of the Flashcard project and say, okay, you as a website, check it out here. And this can be on main. Ah, no, that is not possible. None. Sad. It redirects me after a while. So let's inspect that quickly. I just want to see if something happens in behind the scenes. So it's getting a 200 OK from it. So it really accepts actually the path, but then it's redirecting me back to it. So maybe I have to change something inside of the manifest, that is start URL is not slash, but it is /flashcard project. So, because maybe this manifest JSON navigates me back to the home page, and that would lead, of course, to a problem. So standalone, flashcard, yep. Version is okay. Index, okay. So let's try that. My nose is itchy. Crazy stuff today, tell you. So, I'm not sure how fast this is getting published actually. Maybe I'm also too fast. But we see page build is running. Your website is ready. It succeeded now in 0 seconds. Crazy. No, it's getting redirected. Can I do something about it? Not sure. Of course, what I could do is replacing the whole website with it, but that would be a shame and not really what I would like to succeed with. GitHub or Flutter app with sub apps. Flutter web with sub apps. Not sure if this makes sense, but let's see. Build and release, handling images, choosing a web renderer, minification, building the app for release. Embedding a Flutter app into an HTML page, deploying to the web, Firebase, GitHub Actions. Creating a repository, clone it, hello world, all done. If I navigate somewhere that makes no sense at all, like makes no sense, where do we come? We get not found. So it seems to work. That's sad. So why does it not work as expected? It needs to be something with the entry point. Short name, standalone, portrait primary. So it seems that the navigation goes back, because of the navigator, the href. If you are serving your web page under the root, change the href value reflected. Guys, that was what is important. Flashcard project. I'm pretty sure that will solve the problem already. So, changed entry point. Absolute path could be also the problem. Let's quickly check first this. Where is the GitHub pages? Up. GitHub IO. 2 successful checks. I actually thought that would work here with that Flashcard project. Okay, I have no better options at the moment, so we have tried this one. The script installs the service worker, document script, body append. Favicon, we have the service workers with everything. But I think they don't really care, so it has to do something with this base href. So what would be if the subfolder is it content href? Href is the so they pass in the whole URL path into it. So maybe I have to do the same thing if I want to override it. So now it's dropping me back. So what would be if I replace it with that? The anchor link points to no chance. Sorry, my experience with Flutter Web is still too minor to really understand what is the problem. Could be the start URL in that case, so I could add also here, there's one, but not sure if this really helps us. Oh, come on, that would be great if we would have that. Two minutes ago, 1 minute ago. And done. Nope, drops always back. I have no idea. Maybe I have to play a bit around with it, but this is always, if you are playing around, that sometimes can be a problem. In the meantime, I will anyway add this URL, even though it is not part of it, but maybe in the future. I have to take a look on how exactly we do that. Maybe in the next live stream we will manage that. Okay, so what I would like to say is a big thank you and shout out to everyone that helped me in the last week. I made a lot of improvements in that app, and it made a lot of fun to investigate and learn a lot with you. I used that 1 week of vacation to just see on how it is if I stream every day, if it makes fun, if it's great for the community, if it helps you at the end. And I really had and enjoyed the time. Use live server extension in VS Code. Yeah, but that would be just, but I can try it. Yeah, you're right. So, you mean that I run this and then try a bit around, that I don't do it always. But yep, I will do that anyway in a different part. But thank you, Deepak. That's a good idea, so I can investigate a bit better. Okay, so what I actually wanted to say is thank you very much for your support in the last week. I had tons of fun in the live streams. I learned a lot. I was able to improve the Flashcards app, which I started from scratch to the point where we can now select lessons, where we have our first parts. Now it is time to add more content, but I think I will do that off screen if I have time, and maybe add some ideas that I have inside of them. And maybe start also my own lectures so that I learn something more and can use that app. Also, when I have the time, or from time to time, I will create new live streams where we add also more information to this part, make it maybe more beautiful. Maybe I even invest some money to get a real design for it that we can hold on to it, and things like that to make it more beautiful. Because at the moment it's more a Dart project, less a Flutter project, right? It's not beautiful. Okay, with all that, I will go tomorrow back to work, and with that the live stream session will be a bit over. I thought about to create a separated video for all members, so maybe interesting for you, Deepak, where I will show you why I did that in the first place and what it really brought to the YouTube channel, if it made a benefit or a disadvantage and things like that. So maybe this is also interesting. And besides of that, there is nothing else to say then. Thank you everyone for joining these live sessions. I had tons of fun, as I said, and hope you learned something. And we will see us soon, I hope, in the next video. Next week there will be a video of Mahtab where she talks about Objectbox. It's the first time, or since a long time, it's a sponsored video, so have a look in it, because we get a lot of happy customers there. And yeah, I think that's all of it for today. And I wish you a very pleasant evening. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of the start of the week tomorrow. Bye everyone, and see you. I made your day, that's perfect. And here we are. Okay, so bye everyone.